Hello and welcome back to our series on the life of Alexander the Great. Today, we're venturing into one of the most mysterious chapters of his incredible story. In the spring of 331 BCE, after founding the magnificent city of Alexandria, Alexander did something that baffled his commanders and still intrigues us today. He turned his army away from the heart of the Persian Empire and marched west, deep into the vast, unforgiving Libyan Desert. His destination, the remote and legendary Oracle of Ammon-Zeus at the Siwa Oasis. Why would a king, in the middle of a world-changing conquest, risk everything for this perilous pilgrimage? Was it a strategic political move, a show of piety? Or was it something far more personal, a quest to confront the secrets of his own identity? The journey itself was a trial worthy of a myth. We're talking about a 300-mile trek through a barren, waterless wasteland. The risks were immense: scorching heat, deadly sandstorms, and the very real possibility of getting lost forever. This wasn't a casual trip. It was a life-or-death gamble. So, what was so special about this particular oracle? The Oracle of Ammon at Siwa was one of the most revered in the ancient world. On par with the famous oracles at Delphi and Dodona in Greece, its resident god was Ammon, an ancient Egyptian deity often depicted with the horns of a ram, symbolizing kingship and power. The Greeks, who had known of the oracle for centuries, saw Ammon as their own king of the gods, Zeus. Thus, he became Ammon-Zeus. Legends whispered that Alexander's own mythical ancestors, the mighty heroes Heracles and Perseus, had made this same journey. For Alexander, who was obsessed with glory and legacy, following in their footsteps was an irresistible opportunity. He wasn't just conquering lands, he was consciously crafting his own legend, stepping into the pages of myth itself. A successful pilgrimage would cement his heroic status for all time. But there was another, deeper reason pulling him towards the desert sands. It was the question of his own birth. Alexander's mother, the fiery Queen Olympias, had often hinted that his real father wasn't King Philip II of Macedon, but the god Zeus himself, who had visited her in a divine form. Imagine growing up with that story whispered in your ears. While Philip was your earthly father, you were told your true lineage was divine. This journey to the Oracle of Ammon-Zeus was Alexander's chance to ask the god directly. Was he merely a mortal king, or was he something more? Confirmation of divine parentage would be more than just an ego boost. It would be a powerful political weapon, elevating his authority above all other rulers and justifying his incredible ambition to conquer the known world. Alexander set out with a small, trusted group, including his close friend and future king of Egypt, Ptolemy. As they pushed deeper into the desert, disaster nearly struck. The guides lost their way, their water supply ran out, and the entire expedition faced the grim prospect of dying from thirst. But then, something incredible happened. According to the histories, just as all hope seemed lost, the sky opened up and a miraculous rain shower saved them. Shortly after, two crows appeared from nowhere and guided them the rest of the way to the oasis. For Alexander and his men, these were not coincidences. They were undeniable signs of divine favor, proof that the gods were watching over their journey. After days of struggle, they finally arrived. Imagine the sight: after endless miles of sand, a lush, green paradise of palm trees and fresh water, the Siwa Oasis. It must have felt like stepping into another world. The priests of Ammon welcomed the young conqueror. In a profound show of respect, Alexander chose to enter the temple's most sacred inner sanctum alone, to face the oracle in private. What happened inside that chamber has been debated for over 2,000 years. Alexander was intensely secretive about the specifics, but we have some clues from those who were there. The chief priest reportedly greeted Alexander not as the son of Philip, but as the son of Ammon-Zeus. Whether this was a deliberate pronouncement or a simple linguistic misunderstanding, mispronouncing the Greek for "my son" as son of Zeus, the effect was the same. Alexander then asked his questions. First, he asked if he would become lord of all mankind. The oracle's answer was a resounding yes. His destiny was to rule the world. Next, he asked if all of his father Philip's murderers had been punished. The priest's reply was clever and profound. He stated that Alexander's true father, the god, could not be harmed by any mortal, but that yes, all of Philip's killers had met their fate. Alexander emerged from the sanctuary beaming. He told his companions that he had heard exactly what his heart desired. When they pressed him for details, he remained mysterious, saying only that he had received secret answers which he would reveal to one person, and one person only, his mother, Olympias, upon his return to Macedonia. Of course, as fate would have it, Alexander would never see his homeland or his mother again. The impact of this visit was immediate and profound. Whether Alexander truly believed he was a god's son, or simply recognized the immense political value of the claim, it supercharged his already boundless confidence. From this moment on, he began to embrace his divine status. New coins were minted, showing him with the curved ram's horns of Ammon, a clear and public symbol of his connection to the god. This claim to divinity was a masterstroke of political theater. It legitimized his rule in Egypt, where pharaohs had always been seen as divine. It set him apart from any other king or general, wrapping his entire campaign in an aura of divine destiny. For his enemies, fighting Alexander was no longer just fighting a man. It was defying the will of the gods. However, this new divine persona also created friction. Some of his loyal, old-school Macedonian soldiers were deeply uncomfortable. They had followed a mortal king, their king, and the idea of him aspiring to godhood felt foreign and unsettling. It was a tension that would simmer for the rest of his campaign. After making rich offerings to the god and his priests, Alexander left the oasis behind. He had walked into the desert as a king seeking answers, and walked out as the son of a god. His belief in his own extraordinary mission validated. The journey to Siwa was more than just a detour. It was a pivotal moment that shaped his identity, fueled his ambition, and forever altered how the world saw Alexander the Great. He went looking for his destiny in the heart of the desert, and found confirmation that he was destined to conquer not just the world, but history itself. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the past. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next chapter in the epic life of Alexander. See you next time.